WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. Right now, questions of fall football in Mississippi colleges and universities. And just in late this afternoon, about an hour or so ago, EMCC saying it's opting out of fall football this year. We'll have more on that later on in sports, but still, several questions were centered around football at today's briefing with Governor Tate Reeves and the state health officer, Dr. Thomas Dobbs. The briefing started just shortly after the Big Ten announcing that it's postponing fall sports. Now, it's no secret we're all looking forward to a change of pace and college football, especially here in SEC Nation. Governor Reeves posted on Twitter today stating in part, college football is essential. The tweet prompted questions about the future of football in football season in our state. High schools and colleges also starting the fall semester. Governor Reeves says that we have to balance risk and the costs.
I personally would believe that we can play college football. I don't think you can do it in a stadium with 100,000 people in it. That certainly doesn't make any sense. But you know, we've been working with our universities, State and Ole Miss and Southern Miss and others, looking at the potential for an agreement on what it would look like. And so, you know, look, there are no easy decisions, I understand at this point.
Governor Reeves says the risk of the virus isn't going to be completely erased. He says the goal he's preached since the beginning of the pandemic is to protect the integrity of the state's healthcare system. He feels there's a way to have sports with minimal risk. As college campuses start looking more like college campuses, state health administrators are looking at ways to track potential positive cases of COVID-19. Right now, a positive test is attached to a person's zip code. That means a Mississippi State student who tests positive in Oktibbeha County will likely be counted in their home county. This week, Dr. Thomas Dobbs, the state's top health officer, says the health department is looking at other ways to track positive cases on college campuses and plans to focus efforts on younger people.
We are shifting the majority of our case investigation and contact tracing resources to students in K-12 and college because we know that this is such a vulnerability. We want to make sure that we can do more in-depth investigations around those kids and teenagers and young adults.
Dobbs says one option they're looking at is to attach the student's test results to the zip code of the clinic where he or she receives the COVID test. Well, as I said earlier, the future of high school football also up in the air, all thanks to COVID-19. In Caledonia, athletes are staying in shape and prepping as if the season is happening. But for seniors, even the thought of not having their final season is hitting them a little bit differently. WCBI's Bobby Martinez talked with seniors from the Caledonia high school football team about the unknowns of this upcoming year. He joins us live in the studio. And Bobby, how are they feeling?
Scott, it'll be quite an adjustment for senior athletes this year. And those seniors I spoke to today are hoping things get back to normal sooner than later.
For most of us, it's our last one ever.
So in that case,
Do as much as we can just to have fun.
that has been the mindset for some seniors on the Caledonia high school football team. Lauren Cox says he's willing to do whatever it takes to get back to playing the game he loves.
I prefer to be in the classroom, but it's really whatever we have to do to be able to play this season, because I know for most people around the state, they've already canceled and stuff. So it's just whatever we have to do.
Brandon Kress says he wants to get back into the classroom and be around his friends.
I mean, I'm just ready to go back to school. I'm getting bored of staying at home, and I want to be, around people more of my friends and that are just on the team.
While these seniors dedicate hours throughout the week to perform their best on the field, they'll be doing the same with online learning, even though it poses a few challenges.
Being in front of a teacher is a lot easier to have somebody to show you how to do it, because when you're at home and you're more comfortable, and it's easier to drift away, and it's harder to learn.
At home, I don't have Wi-Fi or internet because I live out in the country, so I had to drive to my girlfriend's house every day, and it was really stressful making sure I got all my work done and turned my grades in and everything.
And it is here on the football field where these seniors lay it out all on the line for the game they love. And this is the same place where they make memories with their teammates that'll last a lifetime.
For us, mostly our memories are made on the field. Yeah, we still hang out during school and stuff, but most of our times that we remember during high school are probably going to be on the practice field and on the game field on Friday nights.
The start of the school year for Caledonia High School was set for September 1st.
All right, Bobby, thanks so much. Let's take a look at some of today's numbers. For the second weekday in a row, Mississippi's COVID-19 numbers, they stay below 1,000. The Mississippi State Department of Health reporting 644 new coronavirus cases and 33 deaths. Governor Reeves said today the state's making progress, but is still urging Mississippians to remain vigilant and keep following the guidelines, including wearing a face mask if you go out in public. There are 179 long-term care facility outbreaks. So far, 68,293 Mississippians have tested positive for the virus. The National Guard, Mississippi State Department of Health, and the University of Mississippi Medical Center, they offered another round of COVID-19 tests. Today, the drive-through testing site was in Okolona at the Vocational Center. The people, they had to make an appointment ahead of time to get tested. State health workers, along with the Mississippi National Guard, have been conducting the drive-through testing at different locations across the region since early summer. The tests are available for anyone experiencing COVID-19 symptoms or if you've been potentially exposed to someone with the virus. A list of future drive-through testing sites can be found on the State Department Health's website.
It's a warm and muggy Tuesday evening, upper 80s, low 90s across the board. Some of us seeing some sun, some of us getting some pretty good storms and some heavy rain right now, right over Maben, Center Grove, northwest of Starkville. A good downpour there right along the trace. Also up here in Chickasaw County near Houston, there's a blob of rain out towards Calhoun City and Vardaman. These are producing lightning downpours, the strongest cells producing perhaps a little bit of hail. And one of those stronger storm cells is north of Tupelo here near Boonville in Prentiss County. Look at that. Some of these are going up to 50,000 feet this afternoon, but a lot of this will go away by mid to late evening. We have a whole host of boundaries out there that will just keep on kicking up showers and storms for the next couple of hours. A lot of that goes away though by midnight. We'll cool down into the 70s here and we will just repeat tomorrow. Your full forecast coming up.
If you've gone to the car dealership lately, you may have noticed a slimmer fleet of vehicles on the lot. In the Golden Triangle, dealers say their inventory has taken a hit during the pandemic. Our Quentin Smith stops by two local dealerships to find the reason behind the low inventory. He joins us live in the studio to explain. Quentin?
Yes, Scott, the reason for the low inventory is because a lot of manufacturing plants that make the vehicles, such as Nissan and Toyota, were shut down earlier in this year, which put a stop to the production. Now, the good news is most have started back up again, but the vehicles are now being shipped out at a slower rate than they were prior to the pandemic.
Cars, trucks, and SUVs, they're all rolling off the lot at Cannon Lincoln Ford of Starkville. But as they roll out, new cars must roll in to keep the inventory stocked. That's a key problem Michael Joe Cannon is running into.
Normally we try to run a 90-day supply, meaning that if you're going to sell 50 cars a month, you want to have 150 on the lot, right? That's 3 times 150 is 150. But right now we're probably at a 45-day supply. So if you sell 50, we'd be lucky to have, 75 on the ground at this time.
Cannon says right now their inventory is low on trucks and SUVs. In large part, that stems from production being halted after manufacturing plants were forced to shut down during the start of the pandemic.
But they're starting to ramp back up. The manufacturers, they're at some of them at 33%, some of them at 50%, some of them even at 75%. And so as they ramp up, we'll begin to get some inventory in.
But it's not just Cannon experiencing low inventory. Russell Street says he's also having similar issues at Columbus Nissan.
We had a little higher supply when this started, so I had enough to weather the storm. My inventory did dip about 20%. However, because I was full at the time, I've still had plenty to meet demand.
The longtime car dealer says their shortage is low for both new and used cars. But while things are looking slim for the moment, Street says the low inventory hasn't had a negative impact on business or customers.
Customers have had no really bad effects from inventory. You see a little less traffic, but what traffic does come out have been people buying because of the deals that the manufacturers are running and the low rates.
Not many times we're not able to get you exactly what you want. You just may have to give us a little bit more time to do that. We can't maybe run over here to our local dealer or run up to down here or up there. It may take a little while, but overall, people understand. Yeah. And they understand we're in a pandemic here.
Cannon says he expects inventory to pick back up by mid-September. Scott?
All right, Gwen, thanks so much. Well, happening right now, community and business leaders in Lowndes County kicking off a series of discussions on race relations. The Columbus Air Force Base, City of Columbus, and Lowndes County are hosting a panel discussion right now live on Facebook. Now, this is going on until about 6:30 tonight. Our very own Andrea Self, she is moderating tonight's discussion. Participants include Robert Smith, Mayor Robert Smith, Base Commander Colonel Seth Graham, and Police Chief Fred Shelton. There's also an education leader as well as a local pastor. Now, you can be a part of this discussion. Just leave a comment over on the mayor's Facebook page. 2 Aberdeen High School students are the only junior ROTC cadets in the state chosen for a unique program. We'll talk about their experience next.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. 2 Aberdeen High School students, they spent a lot of time this summer learning about cybersecurity as part of a new program through the Air Force Junior ROTC. Michaela Davis and Joy Adair were chosen for a pilot program called Cyber Academy. They learned about cracking computer codes, how to catch hackers, and other topics. They were the only 2 students in the state chosen for the 8-week program. Davis and Adair took the course from their home 5 days a week. They say they learned a lot, and they're confident their experience will help them in the future.
I just knew it was very disciplined. You know, you get really good life skills. It just makes you different from every other student that just simply goes to school, you know.
It'll help me, like, probably get into college easier, and plus this could be like another field. If my pre-med field doesn't work out, I can fall back on this to help me get a job somewhere.
Future plans for the program call for partnerships with local industry so cadets can get internships and see how skills they learn are used in the real world. Sounds like a hard program to me. All right, we've got to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, the radar is kind of looking like Christmas over there today.
Getting busy. We got all those Christmassy colors. We'll have another radar check here after the break, Scott. But don't forget, the Perseid meteor shower is peaking right now this week. So if you're out later tonight, if the clouds thin out, you may see some streak across the sky. We had some visible over the last couple of nights. Your full forecast next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Pretty active Tuesday evening now developing around here. Let's first start out with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network across North Mississippi and West Alabama. We've got Columbus, Louisville, Mississippi, Vernon there at Durham's Pharmacy, and in Tupelo we've got upper 80s, low 90s. Current temperatures. It looks pretty good from those 4 locations. However, speaking of that Christmas-like radar right now, just to the northwest of Starkville, right over Maben, that thing is producing perhaps some wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour, heavy downpours, lots of lightning, and that's what we have going on right there. Same story up in Houston, downpours, breezes, lightning. We'll go in and inspect the 3D radar. Some of these going up to 30, 40, 50,000 feet. So these things are very tall. They will pop up and then likely collapse, and as they collapse, we'll see some wind come on down, maybe a little bit of small hail in this as well, especially where we're getting that little area purple showing up right over Houston right now. Additional storm cells up here along and north of Interstate 22 for you in Ripley, up here in Marietta and Boonville. We've had a lot of rain and storminess here recently in Prentiss County, and this is really cool. Look at all of these little blue lines. There's a lot of them out there. They're moving in all different directions. Those are outflow boundaries. They act like mini cold fronts, and when they collide, we will likely get more storms to generate. So there's one coming down from the north. There's one coming in from Alabama. There's a few others out there. And wherever those collide, if you're underneath those areas, you will see a pretty good cloud develop and probably a quick storm with some heavy rain. Now back to the northwest, there's a disturbance here in Oklahoma and Arkansas. This is a slow mover. It's really been stationary for a good chunk of the day, but that is the feature that will cross our area over the next few days and give us more rain chances and some slightly cooler temperatures here. So tonight, after late evening, the rain and storms go away, we think. There could be a few isolated showers around early in the morning, much like this morning. But in general, the better chances for showers and storms tomorrow will be during the heating of the day from late morning through the afternoon into the evening hours. And then a lot of that will go away tomorrow night. And guess what's going to happen on Thursday? You guessed it. More showers and storms, more cloud cover too. And that should keep temperatures a little bit cooler, low 90s, maybe even some upper 80s here. So we will take the rain. the storminess. Some of you looking to see some rain. It's been pretty dry in many spots here. So if nothing else, some extensive clouds in the region could lower temperatures just a little bit. It won't be as hot, but still plenty muggy here. Mid to low 70s for lows tonight across North Mississippi and West Alabama. And our planner for Okolona tomorrow, 70s to start. And then as we get into the heating of the day, temperatures climbing back into the 90s. And for the rest of Chickasaw County, Houston, you're getting the storm now. You will likely have a few more storms around the region tomorrow. Low to mid 90s. That is our forecast for our day Wednesday. And we're advertising more in the way of lower 90s as we get into your Thursday and Friday. Rain chances still elevated here. 90s for the weekend. And if we're lucky, Scott, some drier and cooler air by the middle of next week.
We'll definitely be keeping our fingers crossed. Thanks, Keith. Well, 5-time national champion EMCC plans to opt out of football this fall. Those details on that decision next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Breaking news this afternoon out of Scuba. 5-time national champion EMCC announcing they will not be participating in football this fall. The Lions saying the decision was made due to safety challenges amid the coronavirus pandemic. Some shocking news because just in late July, the Mississippi Association of Community Colleges opted to delay the JUCO fall season to October 1st. That decision followed the NJCAA's decision to postpone fall athletics to the spring of 2021. As of now, the Lions are the only team not planning to continue with football this fall. EMCC will honor student athletes' scholarships. The high school football tour continues on in 4A. Our next stop checks in with Caledonia. Caledonia found its way to the playoffs last year, and the goal in 2020 is to do even better. Caledonia is stop number 51 on the high school football tour.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour is brought to you by Itawamba Community College, Cannon Ford of Starkville, Monroe County Farm Bureau, Max South Broadband, and the Bank of Vernon.
Following an improved 2019 season, Caledonia football is ready to compete. Caledonia returns with a lot of confidence following a 5-6 season and the team's first playoff appearance since 2016. Now, Caledonia looks to build on that positive momentum during the upcoming season.
Over the last 2 years, we've made a lot of progress. Our young men have put a lot of work and commitment into this. We hope it pays off. You know, we're blessed every day to be able to be out here and continue playing football with all that's going on. And if we're fortunate enough to be able to make it to the football field, we got a lot of experience, a lot of returning players, and we hope that confidence pays off. We hope it can turn into productivity on the field, and we can continue to move our program in the right direction.
Caledonia loses some key players at skill positions to graduation, such as former quarterback Brandon Edmondson and wide receiver Anthony Triplett. However, Kelly says his team has more experience elsewhere and will look to some younger players to fill critical roles.
We've probably got more experience in returning players in our line of scrimmage, offense and defensive line players, but we still have a good mix of skill players that's played in several reps over the last couple of years. But we've got a lot of key young guys that are going to step into some of those skill players. They have all the tools and the abilities to do what we need them to do. They just need a lot of reps. They need a lot of practice reps. They need a lot of game reps. We're excited to see where they're going to take us in the future.
Our defense is really strong. We get to the ball, we fly around, try to make plays. Just a defensively sound team.
While most teams were forced to miss spring workouts because of COVID-19, Caledonia opted to hold spring practice in January. Although it seemed weird at the time, Caledonia sees that those January practices are now paying off.
We got a lot of weird looks when we first did it, but I thought it was a benefit to our program, and now that everything got delayed and in school even stopped, it's a big benefit for us. Those young kids that we spoke of earlier were able to get 10, 11 practices under their belt, so they've got some live reps. They've got the terminology and communication. They've been in the locker room, been in a little bit of the war and contact. So it really helps us as a program. We're not really as a major 15 days behind as per se some of these other programs who missed their spring training.
Like it gave us like a bit of a confidence boost since we already got it out the way. And we should be more prepared than other teams that didn't get to do it.
Caledonia is putting a lot of emphasis on its younger players to step up and become physical come the first Friday night of the season.
I want our Cats to be the most physical team when we step on the field on Friday night. I believe our style of play takes care of itself, but our young men have to go produce that. They have to go out there and do it. We can talk about being physical, we can practice being physical, but we actually have to learn to go play physical each and every play and on Friday nights, and I believe that gives us a chance to be successful.
Showing them that we mean business, you know, being aggressive, going out there and hitting them in the mouth. No, we're not playing around or anything. We're out here to set a tone and just go out there and win ball games as physical and as fast as we can.
Caledonia faces its first test against Amory on September 4th. With Caledonia on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour with Caledonia High School is brought to you by Bloomer's Nursery and Garden Boutique, Shop and Save, and Columbus Engine and Crank.
That's it for sports. More for you when we come back.
More showers and storms still in the region. This will carry over into the evening hours. Some of you may get to see a pretty good downpour tonight. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Elevated rain chances, Scott, for the next couple of days.
Looking forward to next week when the lower humidity is going to come in.
Lower humidity, maybe lows in the 60s.
We'll take all we can get this time of year. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening. We'll see you right back here tonight at 10.